Hello and welcome to Spotlight on Education. I'm Dr. Jon Kopko, Superintendent of the East Brunswick Public Schools and your host for the program. Today I'm in the Channel 8 studio with Dr. Miriam Staloff. Dr. Staloff is our District Supervisor of English and Staff Development, and our program today is going to focus on staff development. And I would like to begin with a little background information, and Miriam, perhaps you can tell us why staff development and the opportunities for staff development are so important in the district.
Well, the answer is, like every other program in East Brunswick, the purpose of the staff development program is to improve educational progress and educational excellence for all our students. To ensure that that progress takes place, it's essential that we provide opportunities for professional growth to our certificated staff, to our support staff, and of course to our administrators. Our program has actually several major objectives. First of all, this is the way we begin to introduce and train teachers in new programs, curriculum, and practices. We also assess, evaluate, and revise existing programs as part of the staff development program. And of course, there are always the federal, the state, and the local mandates. One other area is very important, and that's the application of learning and instructional research theory and practice, applying that to make our instruction the very best that it can be.
And how are these programs planned?
Well, they are planned in three ways. First of all, school goals. A second way is department and curriculum goals, and then through faculty needs assessment. At the end of each workshop, for example, every participant must fill out an evaluation sheet in which he or she indicates workshops which he would like to take following the workshop that we're talking about. And also we run district-wide surveys.
Now the workshops themselves, who actually leads these workshops?
Experts. Experts from outside the district. District administrators who are obviously experts in their own content fields, and finally our teacher experts. Many of our workshops are conducted superbly by teachers in our district.
Well, parents and students are probably most aware of those staff development days that occur when school is closed.
Yes.
That occurred most recently in October, and could you tell us some of the topics and the things that were covered there?
Yes, I'm still processing that. We offered over 80 workshops in a 45-page catalog at the beginning of the year. They fall into three discrete content groups. First of all, technology. For example, we gave computers in art and music and science workshops. We also had some technology workshops in media and the social studies classroom. Obviously math and telecommunications. Another area is the content area. For example, social studies ran a workshop on the research paper and the oral assessment update, a very interesting project which is part of our program. In the elementary school, the balanced reading program was a two-day workshop for elementary teachers. There are also cross-content workshops. An example is teaching tolerance, diversity, and the Holocaust for grades 5 through 12. Not only was it a state mandate, but it's also a thrust of many of our schools. Another example is cooperative learning.
Well, we were very fortunate that Channel 8 was able to tape some of these workshop sessions as they were in progress, and we have those tapes available, and maybe you could provide our audience with the topics and who the presenters were.
Well, the first film clip that we're going to be seeing is conducted by Mrs. Ronnie Storch from Memorial School, and it's a workshop for elementary teachers who teach science and deals with setting up science learning centers. A second workshop clip is going to be conducted by the Lincoln Center Institute staff for English teachers grades 6 through 12, and the topic was to develop aesthetic responses to literature. The third film clip is conducted by Dan Simon. It's a math workshop in which they're looking at calculators and the Geo Sketchpad. Interestingly enough, in the three clips, you will see each of the presenters, expert presenters that I described earlier.
Well, we're going to take a look at those tapes now.
Good.
Here. If you think about what we envision a scientist as, what do we envision a scientist as? And there are very specific stereotypes that people have for scientists. What's one thing?
White lab coat.
White lab coat. What else?
A beard.
A beard. And a beard means a man. Wild hair, right. Scientists are not portrayed really as very appealing people, are they? They are portrayed as perhaps absent-minded. They're portrayed as usually men. They are portrayed as people who are isolated, who stay within a laboratory, those kinds of things. And today, of course, this is not true. If you go to any research-based community that is doing science work, there are many, many women who are in the field, and we must, again, encourage our girls to work toward science fields if this is where their capabilities lie. Let me go over with you an activity that I have prepared so that we can look at the kinds of skills that science promotes. I have 3 liquids here, obviously. I'd like someone to come up and see if they can identify the first liquid. And this is an acceptable way to teach children how to smell various items. What else?
Smells like rubbing alcohol.
Does it?
To me, maybe
Okay.
water, maybe something I ate.
Okay, what else? Anything else?
Water.
How else might you identify it? What else could you do?
By looking at it, I know it's
You
clear.
can look at it. She sees that it's clear. Go ahead.
Well, if I don't want to touch it because I don't
Well, if
know
I
what
say
it
to
has.
you, you can touch it. Okay. What does it feel like?
Water.
Okay. You may never taste materials that are science materials. This is something that we teach children. Do not taste things. What do you think it is?
Some kind of soapy detergent.
Very interesting.
Oh, this is a detergent. Slime. That's the word you use.
Yes.
So I would say that would be some kind of washing detergent, liquid detergent.
All right, what skills have we used just to identify 3 different liquids? What were some of the skills? We used all of our senses. We attempted except for taste, right? What else? We certainly described what we saw. We tried to identify what we saw. Those are all skills that you use in science. To further extend this activity, to do more kinds of skill work, we're going to see what happens when we put the 3 liquids together, okay? The first liquid was identified as water. Use a funnel if you can, makes it neater. I'm going to fill the bottle about 1/3 of the way. I'm going to put some red dye in it, red vegetable dye. Red vegetable dye is the same density as water. Right? In effect, it is water. It is water. So if I put the red vegetable dye in it, what's going to happen to the water?
It's red.
Very good. Very good. Turns red. Absolutely. Turns red. Doesn't float on top. Doesn't sink to the bottom. Because it is water. It's the same kind of thing as this is. Do you think that might be true about the other 2 liquids that we have? We have 2 other liquids. One we identified perhaps as, Gary, what do you think it might be?
Some kind of detergent.
And one we identified as?
So that was the detergent.
That, both as detergents, okay? We'll see if we can identify what they are, if they are different or if they are alike as we continue. If I took this liquid and poured it into the bottle as I poured the water, what might happen? What are the possibilities that could occur? What possibilities?
It may float on top.
It could float on top. That's one possibility. or it could sink to the bottom, or
Mixed together.
it could mix together, or it could turn the color of the red liquid, yes. Or, what else? They could mix together, and you would have one liquid. So there are several possibilities occurring. If we take this and we do, I want you to notice some things that I do, because these are the skills of a scientist, which you should teach your children. I do them automatically because I work very long in science. When I finished with this bottle, I closed it. And it's very important that you teach the children to close things after they use it. This eliminates, of course, the problem of them spilling it. So that's another skill. In this case, I also closed this bottle. Using a funnel, again, just to eliminate problems, I'm going to pour this liquid in here, and notice what happens. See what happened? Who can describe for me what occurred when I poured one into the other? Barbara?
It's floating on top. It didn't turn color, and it didn't mix together.
Okay. So they said, what do you think it is? Do you still think it's
Oil.
You think it's an oil? Okay. Interesting. What do you think would happen if I turn this upside down?
The oil would come up on top.
What do you think children would say if you asked them that question?
It's going to mix together.
They'd mix together, or the oil would be on the bottom, and the liquid would be. Obviously, when we turn it over, the oil remains on the top because it's lighter than the water. Third liquid we have. Now watch carefully, because this is real neat.
We have a flag.
Now let's take a look at what happened. What happened?
It's heavier than both.
Heavier than both. Right. Did it mix with the liquid?
No.
Went right through it, settled to the bottom. It's denser. What do you think would happen if I turned it upside down? In the same order. What do you think would happen if I shook it?
It'll mix from...
Think so? Somebody want to shake it?
It's good detergent. It's gonna break up the oil.
Pepto-Bismol.
What happened? Did they mix?
Yeah, there's still some on the bottom. You gotta mix it more.
What has happened here, now you remember, when you do an activity, you obviously do it and explain it the way that is developmentally appropriate for the children that are sitting in front of you. For us to say to the kids, all right, they mix together, that would be sufficient for first grade. The detergent, which was at the bottom, it was Dawn detergent, makes the oil separate so that into tiny, 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 tiny bubbles so that it can be suspended in the liquid, in the water. And that's exactly what happened. If you're talking to fifth graders, you might say that the detergent is a surfactant. And what a surfactant means is that it reduces the surface tension of the water and the oil so that they can mix together. And so you teach them a new vocabulary word. It means the same thing. You're able to mix the liquids together because of the detergent that you placed in it. Now, what application does this have for us in everyday life? When do you use detergent?
When you get grease in your clothes.
When you get grease on your clothes, you use detergent because it breaks the oil so that it can be carried away by the water. And that's the application that you would have, making this experiment or this activity more meaningful for children. So you've taken...
What do we see? Look at the configuration of the bodies. Now, levels right here alone. The other one, everyone was on an upright standing. Look at the different levels we have going here. Different places of focus.
It's kind of like a wheel, like a hub of a wheel, like spokes are coming out.
Great, because we have a circular feel. What else?
And Brady's relaxing.
Okay, what you get that from?
Force of habit.
Well, he's laying down.
It's gesture, I think, right?
Most people are looking away.
Okay.
Everybody's looking in different directions.
Yeah.
Good. People looking in different directions, except maybe here.
Right.
Okay. What about gestures? Yes, I'm sorry.
Reaching out.
Good. Okay. Good. A reaching. What else did we hear? Searching. Okay.
John and Melissa are looking in the same direction.
Okay.
The son, well, he's blocking something.
Or he's saluting.
He's saluting, yeah.
Okay.
No, his hand is on his forehead.
His hand is on his
I know, I'm
forehead.
interpreting,
Good.
I'm
No, that's okay. We're getting there. Someone said here, too, that they're looking in different directions, but connected.
Together.
They are.
Their hands are open, the people who are out.
Okay. Good. So in terms of moving towards interpreting this work, what is it bringing up for you?
Unity.
You feel a unity. Uh-huh. From
I don't know. I feel Dan is looking away. Yeah.
Okay.
But the,
Ginger.
Think about some of the words that we had over here. People were reaching out. We find a commonality.
Many said despair, but I was thinking hope because
well, some of
they're
each.
reaching for something.
Okay, this is great. A hopefulness because there's a sense of reaching out.
They're all kind of touching.
They're all kind of
They're
touching.
looking
What was it you
different.
said?
These are connected.
Seeking we have here.
Seeking things in different ways.
Their eyes are all open.
Okay, seeking things in different ways. Can you just explain, because I think that's great.
Like
Why?
everybody's sort of taking a different path to whatever it is they're all trying to find. Maybe it's the same thing they're looking for, but they're all taking different paths to.
Okay, good. If you could title this, what title would you give this piece? Based on the things that you've added.
Columbus coming to the new world.
So you have a sense of sort of right? This, Did you have something?
I would kind of call it leadership because some people, three of them are looking in the same direction, which might be like the norm, and then you've got a rebel over there looking the other way, but that leader is still connected to him. And then there's somebody looking to one of the other leaders to take him to where the others seem to be looking. So I would title it leadership for that reason.
Okay.
Different perspectives.
Different
Life
perspectives.
in multicultural America.
Individualism. So you're talking about faith?
Or perspectives on that?
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. It's a word that community is like some
Tell. Good.
Please.
Okay, good. And relax? Good. Before now, what was it like hearing,
Yes.
what was it hearing the interpretation of your work?
We're better than we thought.
We wanted to start again.
The descriptions were really good. We heard words like unity, wholeness, searching.
I got it.
We're closer. They were the first things I heard. I think it was Marty that said like there's like this like a wheel is the center of the wheel and the spokes coming out and the searching. The things I heard earliest were the closest. And as they kept going, they kind of kept getting farther away from
We
it.
used you as a springboard, you know, and then we started like going into our own worlds about it.
That's right. It was interesting, though, when they started interpreting, they weren't looking at the whole picture. They still weren't, even after they put it all together.
They're looking
And that was the one thing that
So you felt
pointed
the
out.
reason why they were
They didn't
closer
look
when they
at
were
the whole
looking
thing.
at the real individual, the specifics of it,
better.
and they were, and then that, but they
When they
lost
tried
sight
to
of.
title it, then they lost sight of what they said in the beginning.
That's true.
So we can create this actually very easily. Okay, it's what's called an animation, and what's nice is that you can also create, if we show you with a little close-up here, up in the corner, a little animation box, which will allow you at any time to start the animation and then stop the animation. Okay, so it's really not a very difficult thing to do. So let's think of something very simple that we might want to animate. Like let's say We have, let's take a triangle. Let's say we want to make a triangle and take one of the points and just send it around a circle so that the shape of the triangle continues to change. Okay, so let's do that. So let's all go to a new sketch. Okay, let me zoom back here, and we'll all start a new sketch. And just with this new sketch, let's just start with something very simple, make a triangle. Okay, let's make a triangle. Okay, and you know there's a lot of ways to do that. You might want to do it with segments, you might want to do it with points. Okay, but we'll just start with something very simple over here, a little triangle. And let's make it colorful. Let's do that where we select and make an interior and choose a color. Okay, so we'll go through that with the selector and the 3 points, and then we'll make an interior. Does everybody remember how to do that?
Not the interior.
Okay, select the 3 points of the triangle, go to construct, interior, then go over to display, color, and pick whatever color you want. Now, we can do one of two things. Do you want one of the points to move along a line, or do you want it to move around a circle so the whole figure changes? All right, let's make it move around a circle. So what we're going to do is select the circle tool. Now, we can put it anywhere. I think it would be cool if we have the triangle inside the circle so that the shape continues to wind around itself. Okay? So I would start my circle, let me zoom in on this so you can see what I'm doing here. I would start my circle in the middle of the figure and then open it up so it's out like this. Okay, so my circle is actually around my triangle. And by the way, notice that the color of your triangle, of your circle, is probably the color of your triangle, because the last color you selected is the color it stays on.
You can change it.
If you want to change it, as long as your circle is selected, go back to display and change it back to black. Okay? Because the color always remembers the last color you were on. Okay, now here's where we have some fun. This is where we get to do the animation. And we can do this. What's really cool is we can do all 3 points at once if we want. Let's go back to our selector. Are we okay?
Yeah.
You have our triangle and our circle and everything? Okay. Pick any one of those points. Just select any one of those points you want.
There you go.
Okay, I'm going to take the lower right corner here. And with the Shift key, also select the circle. Now, if you go into display, the second from the bottom, you see a command, animate. If you go down to animate, it will tell you what you're doing. It's taking point C, moving it around circle 1 quickly. Now you have the options, and that's what that little arrow means. If I go over to quickly, okay, let me zoom in here so you can see what I'm talking about. If I go over to quickly and I push on that arrow, I don't have to do it quickly. I can do it slowly, normally, or quickly. Okay, but I'll stick with quickly. And then, once you have what you want, hit animate. Whoop, and there it goes. Okay, it's going. Now, let's say we want to have even more fun. We have that one going, we want to get another point going also. Okay, just click anywhere on your screen, it stops moving. Okay, now, we're going to go back, and I'm going to again select that point.
Well, Miriam, the tapes certainly illustrate the very wide variety of sessions that were available. However, this really represents only one portion of our staff development program here in East Brunswick. What else do we offer?
That's absolutely true. In addition to the district-wide full-day in-service programs that we have each year, there are many other programs which address the district goals, the program goals. For example, there's the mandated in-service, which I've mentioned before. Every teacher has an affirmative action training every single year, as well as right to know training. There are monthly department and monthly staff meetings which provide excellent staff development activities on the department and the building level. There is also graduate study, which is supported by our Board of Education. Are you aware of the fact that 55 staff members took part in 76 school-related graduate courses last year? We have professional days both in and out of the district. Out-of-district workshops represent seminars, conventions, conferences, which teachers can attend to improve themselves professionally. The in-district opportunities are excellent. For example, we can send a new teacher to go and observe a master teacher teaching in his or her classroom, which is a wonderful opportunity. We have CEUs, continuing education units. These are rigorous academic courses which are offered after school, 15 hours, just like a regular college course, which deal with areas that are very important to our district. Technology represents a very important thrust, as does maximizing class instruction and integrated language art. Over 100 staff members attended these classes in the fall and spring offerings last year. We also have a very broad range summer staff development program. These involve continuing education courses as well as curriculum development courses. We have, as probably the most powerful arm of our staff development program, the observation, assessment, and individual improvement plan process. Last year in our district alone, 2,500 observations and post-observation conferences were conducted, and these are wonderful opportunities for one-on-one staff development. Another arm of the staff development program which affects parents are the administrator teacher parent workshops. I'm just going to refer to my list here so I can show you how broad that is. Family Math Night, Parent University, Student Assistant Programs, the college application process, school orientation, kindergarten orientation, back to school nights and orientation for Stokes and Fairview are just a few of these. And then the last arm that's really important is the orientation and training for new staff members. We've got to get them up to speed so that they're as good as everyone else. And finally, the mentoring program. The mentoring program is fairly new, and it involves appointing veteran teacher coaches to help support new teachers as they become involved in East Brunswick. Whew.
Well,
That's
Miriam,
a lot.
I'd certainly like to thank you very much for being here with us today and providing information on this very important aspect which is taking place in our schools. And I'd also like to compliment you for your leadership that you've provided to this program, which I think is probably one of the most comprehensive in the state of New Jersey. So congratulations on that. To our audience, thank you for watching. And on behalf of the Board of Education, we'd like to wish you a very happy, safe, and enjoyable Thanksgiving.